Hello, this is Smarto Day, and welcome to my lessons, SD lessons. Today, I am going to discuss with something which is very important for all of us. But then, to many, usually the children, I find them calling it a boring subject. Why it is boring? I try to think about it. Why it is boring? Because we find that the subject is discussed with a lot of technical things, legal things, which children don't like to understand, don't like it. It has to be told, it has to be told in a manner that they enjoy. It should be in a lucid and simple way. That means instead of going to the very details of how things are done, we need to understand overall how the nation is built. Now, I have already told about the Constitution. Let me explain in a very simple way. Try to understand, let's see, how we run our country. The moment we got independence and then we formed the Constitution. And the Constitution, it needs to be understood that it has 395 articles in 22 parts. 395 articles in 22 parts. And also, there are 8 schedules. 8 schedules. You see this number? 8 schedules. And this side, 395. So, when the Constitution was formed, why the Constitution was formed? Means all the rules are being given, written in writing. Then how we are going to rule our country? What are the laws? Everything are mentioned in writing so that there is no problem. Actually, it is sounds very easy, but it is difficult. Why it is difficult? Because you see, this country is so huge. It's huge country, and you see right from the north. You see from here Kashmir till Kanyakumari here. Northeast, you see this all this Arunachal Pradesh, you find Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland, Tripura. And you see here Punjab, Rajasthan, and Gujarat this side. You see Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and all that in the south. So, culturally, language wise, religion, culture, weather, almost everything different. So, it's not easy to run the government. So, once we form the constitution, this entire place, so let me tell you, this places got divided into small, small constituencies. Small, small based on the population. How many? How many? 550 maximum, but presently 543. What is to be done? Election to be done. The general people will elect. And how many elections, how many constituencies? 543. So 543 I'm talking about at present. So many MPs will be elected, and half of 543 is 271 point something point 5. That means one more, 272. Any political party or a group of parties who get 272 support MPs, they will form the government, and the government will form here in the center. That is called the central government. But then there is another thing to be understood. They will form the central government, and how they will administer, how they will manage, I'll talk about it. But then one more thing is that we have to understand that ours is a federal setup system, federal setup. What is federal? That means central government has the power of doing certain things here, and equally the states. We have 28 states. Remember, we have 28 states and we have 8 union territories. So these 28 states and 8 union territories which are elected, they have their also government. We call the state government or the union territories or the state government. Now they have been also given the same power like the central government, but the state governments are smaller in size, but constitution provides the same power. Means you can govern, you can form your own laws, you can manage your own, you can raise taxes or revenue in the same manner, keeping in view that there should not be any breach, there must not be any kind of misunderstanding, misgivings. There must be a total harmony with the center and the state. Federal setup. So, in the federal setup, what is there? Central government has powers, state government also has powers. And there is another one, central state. And the third tier, which is added now, is the panchayats or the municipalities. So, another very small government, self government in the village panchayats, they are also given certain powers which they function on their own and they are given powers. So, at the moment, I am talking about the central power and the state government, the central government and the state government. Let me change the page and explain. Now, children, I was telling you about 543 MPs and the federal setup. Now, the country, I said, divided into constituencies like this based on the population, and there all total how many? 543. We call them member of parliaments, MPs. How many? 543. Half 271 plus 1, 2. Anyone who gets 271.5, that is 272. This is 272. So anyone who gets that 272 will form the government here. But I was talking about the federal setup. How are the state governments elected? Now, let me take an example of this state, West Bengal. Look at here. This is again with smaller constituencies. How many? Like this. You'll have constituencies here. How many? 294. We call state legislative constituencies. State legislative constituencies 294. Half of that will be how much? 147 plus 1. One more, so majority will be 148. Anyone who wins 148 out of 294 will form the state government. Now, presently we know who is ruling the state government here in West Bengal. We know that. That's not my purpose of telling who is doing that what. But anyway, we know so state government is here. Likewise, it will be in Bihar, in Jharkhand, in Orissa, in Assam, in all the places, 28 states. So there are state governments, 28 state governments. Also the union territories are there, elected ones. So there are governments there. So these governments, they can form their laws. They have the constitutional rights to govern the way they want, keeping, of course, one thing in mind, keeping harmony with the center. State and center may not have any kind of dispute, misunderstandings. If at all it happens, then there are provisions that it can be settled down in the judiciary. That means the court. We have the Supreme Court, High Court, subordinate courts. Of national importance, we go to the Supreme Court. That is a different issue which I will talk about it later on. So, at the moment, federal setup, central government, out of 543, 272 Who wins? You know who has won and who is running the central government. State governments, all the various states: Bihar, Bengal, Orissa, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh. Just check on Gujarat, Rajasthan, Punjab, Union Territory of Delhi. You know who is the chief minister there, like that. So they have their constitutional authority, the right to rule it separately, but keeping one thing in mind, that we are a nation together, union of states. We are union of states. We remain together as one whole, but partly to function properly, so that the identity of each and every place is maintained, the desire of the local people is maintained. The state governments have given the authority, the power, equal power and authority. Okay, children, the next class I will go a little into details. So then, like the president, I will talk about the president, the prime minister, their powers. Gradually, I'll come into the legislative, the executive, and the judiciary. And then gradually we need to understand, go into details. Don't go into details right in the beginning. In the beginning, you get a outer concept and then get into details. Okay then children, bye bye for today. Bye.